Dude, I hate Halloween.
Was it because of all these scary movie tropes and cliches?
Yeah, I mean, like, first off, the lights always go on and off.
Yeah, don't forget the TV being on the fritz.
Now, watch. The phone's gonna ring, and there's gonna be no one on the other side. If we wait. Ah, see, I told you. Yeah, I'm not answering that.
And don't forget about the serial killer trying to get inside.
Really? Regular Cheerios?
Man, Halloween tries to be scary, but every year it's the same thing.
You know, I don't think anything can scare us now. Really? All of them at the same time?
Ha! Like we're afraid of the dark.
What's up, everybody? Jose here, and all I can say is dolls are pretty scary. So let's play a game about one. This is Voodoo Vince. Voodoo Vince was published by Microsoft Game Studios and developed by Beep Studios. This was their only real big game. After this, the studio went to developing mobile puzzle games. As a kid, I used to enjoy playing Voodoo Vince, so I was intrigued if the game holds up to this day. Well, the answer is... Our story begins with some exposition about a small voodoo shop run by Madame Charmaine, who holds some powerful zombie dust. Now, if there's anything powerful being held by a simple person, there's the classic conflict of someone evil wanting to take it. Someone like Cosmo the Inscrutable, this guy. Let me just go over the intro real quick. Villain henchmen sent to steal the dust, Charmaine tries to stop them, things go bad, they get the dust, kidnap Charmaine, and accidentally bring our hero Vince the voodoo doll to life. Now, as Vince, we have to stop Cosmo. It's a decent start, but it does raise a few questions. Questions like, why does Charmaine look like a doll as well? The henchmen look off too. Another thing, Charmaine says she tries to stop them, but she does nothing but bitch. What good did that do? She's useless at this time. And finally, why is Vince known as the third best voodoo doll? Honestly, that just bothers me because it's very oddly specific. Anyways, that's as much as the story as we're really going to get throughout the game. This game is a standard platformer. You control Vince through a variety of levels just trying to stop Cosmo and rescue Charmaine. As a plot, it's average, but it's fine for the game. The thing I don't like though is how the plot tries to advance Vince through the stages. Out of the 6 stages, about half of them you'll be playing the errand boy, trying to complete or collect 3 specific things in order to move on. After playing a lot of other platformers, it just seems like a lazy progression device. When you reach one of these stages, you'll start in a hub-like area where you can travel to levels that have whatever you need to collect. Now, the levels themselves are actually pretty good. The developers tried to make each level sort of interesting and different from each other. You'll have levels where you'll be controlling vehicles, others that teach you about new game mechanics and moves, and some pretty interesting puzzle levels. For example, there's a slaughterhouse where you'll have to solve a puzzle in order to destroy cute cartoon animals in order to make them into meat. Kind of dark, but it is one of those games that has a nice sprinkle of humor, albeit dark at times, throughout the game. But like everything in this game, if there's a pro, there's a con. Madame Charmaine, while being useless as a protector of zombie dust, can establish a mental connection with Vince, guiding him through his adventures. At first she seemed useless, but now she's too helpful. This means she'll plainly tell you what the objective is in most levels, or tells you how to solve each puzzle. It doesn't matter if it's completely obvious, she'll still tell you. It would be cool if she said something if I was stuck, but this just removes the level's challenge. I don't need a voice in my head helping me all the time. I can kill useless characters by myself. Okay, maybe that effect was a little too much. So, speaking of killing, one pretty cool game mechanic is that since Vince is a voodoo doll, he can hurt enemies by using everyday dangers or mystical voodoo powers. Vince can only really get hurt by dark magic. The Voodoo power is an attack that basically gets Vince killed, and any enemy close by gets killed in the same fashion. Generally, the attack on Vince can be both humorous and a little grim, though watching the enemies get maimed in the same fashion is just hilarious. Epic constipation? Boom! Explode internally! Ha! I'm 12. Though, sometimes you'll see the same death animation for powers that don't generally match. Vince gets maimed violently by a shark in a bathtub, well, enemies become sliced bread. Huh. Even though that's a little lazy, it's still a fun power to use, especially trying out new powers whenever you collect them. Another thing that's neat about Vince being a voodoo doll is that all the boss fights never have you attacking the boss directly. You're always trying to find a way to cause damage to yourself in order to hurt them, usually by using the environment. It's a neat concept, but it's just not executed that well. Once again, Madame Charmaine still tells you what to do, and the bosses most of the time aren't that dangerous. Nearly all the boss's attacks can be easily avoided, and even if you do get hit, you won't take that much damage. In fact, enemy monsters and bosses are practically easy to deal with. The challenge in the game mostly stems from your ability to execute moves in order to get Vince to the objective, then pushing the X button. If you don't pull off the moves correctly, more often than not you'll fall into a bottomless pit. These are one-hit kill and they're everywhere. It kinda makes the mechanic of upgrading your health by collecting 100 zombie dust tokens throughout the world pretty useless, since you'll most likely die from these than enemies. And oh wait, I just remembered, no, it does not, because there's one section in the game where it's almost necessary to have health or you will die, and it pisses me off. It's at the final stage of the game where Vince goes through the House of Awfully Scary Stuff. That's literally what it's called. And no, you're not facing a giant boss of student loans and college debts, even though that's incredibly scary. It's a standard rail shooter that sucks. You have to go through the entire house in order to turn on a generator, all the while cutout monsters come flying at you. You have to shoot them or else they take away some of your health. If you die, you have to restart the entire section. The only thing is, the controls are sluggish and creatures appear out of nowhere with no warning. At the start it's not that bad since you have some time to react and can easily aim your shots. But later when multiple of them quickly fly at you, it gets frustratingly hard. You better have a lot of health at this section or you'll just be restarting over and over and over. Overall, I have so many mixed feelings about this game, but in the end I feel like the good outweighs the bad. While most side characters are kinda bland, I like the main character of Vince because of his personality. He's witty at times and sometimes comes off as a funny, sarcastic asshole.
Windy. Can't imagine anything windier than you.
I like the level designs and wide variety of levels, even if there's one or two bad ones. The music works really well with the levels, though at times it could be off, like you're traveling in the swamp area and suddenly, pianos. Not what I expected, but okay. And even though some characters look bad close up, the overall setting, enemies, and bosses look pretty good! Damn it! Forgot that part of the game still existed. Even now that boss creeps me out. So yeah, Voodoo Vince is a pretty decent game. I saw new copies of the game going for like $40 to $50, and I don't really think it's worth that. Though if you're still interested in getting it, I would suggest getting used copies or even the remastered version of Voodoo Vince coming out in 2017. But yeah, that's it. So thanks for watching guys and have a happy Halloween. The creepy ass doll is right behind me, isn't it?
Hello, I'm Dolly. Will you be my friend?